I know that we are running short on time. Chaitra told me to accelerate this conversation. This conversation is very important. This conversation is between you and your lunch. So I want you to get up, give a big round of applause for yourself to be part of this Women in Cloud Summit today and for this panel. Come on, stand up. I want the energy. This conversation needs your energy. Come on. All right, thank you. So we heard from Eduardo all about cloud. We will continue the conversation with demystifying the cloud, bring the cloud onto earth. I have this amazing panel. I will introduce each one of them, and then I'm going to pose questions. Then if time permits, I'm going to open up to the audience to ask the questions. Okay? All right. I'm just going to introduce in no way you guys are sitting, so just when I call your name, just raise your hand. Madhu Kochar, she's a vice president IBM, leads product management and client success for analytics solution. She leads world-class engineering team to deliver optimal solutions for hybrid cloud to drive customer success stories. So as I was working with these ladies, I asked each one of them to give me their thoughts on cloud, one statement, two statement, how they think about cloud in everyday what they do, how they drive business forward. So Madhu's quote is, the trend, I believe, is that hybrid multi-cloud architectures will replace the one cloud fits all approach. Fair? Madhu Singh. She's a chief legal officer at Foundry Law Group. She serves as adjunct faculty at Seattle University School of Business, on the board of Women Business Exchange and TIE Seattle. Madhu's passion is to work alongside CEOs, entrepreneurs, business leaders to craft legal solutions that fit the needs, vision, values of today's growing companies and customers. And here are her thoughts. Cloud is moving us away from work for hire model, allowing business to build tangible IP to license to enterprises. No longer you give away your hard-earned developed IP, but you build the value for your business. Lisa Lindberg, she's a vice president of product, Expedia Group Media Solutions. She has vast experience building consumer products, advertising media programs for online companies. She knows how to blend consumer needs, product vision, and monetization to deliver growth and results. Her thoughts on cloud are, cloud-based data gathered across Expedia's 200 different websites and brands allows us to create advertising solutions that connect customers with leading advertisers at the speed, scale, and precision. We operate a real-time product solutions that help travelers find, explore, and book where they want to go across the world. Heidi Toussaint, she's a staff UX researcher at Google. She's focused on building developer experience on Google Cloud Platform. She holds a master's degree in human design engineering and an undergrad in computer engineering. She has co-authored several publications about user experiences. And as I was going through her publication, one of the very interesting publications just took my attention was, which her publication focuses on creative methods that can spark a new conversation or illuminate different insights by using methods like speed dating, love letters, and couple interviews. Her cloud quote is, the intersection of technology and imagination empower change. And finally, Ioanna Stenglodi. She's from Greece. She actually flew all the way from Greece to attend this conference, so give her a round of applause. Ioanna is a co-founder and chief risk officer of Verge.capital. She co-founded fintech startup which developed a pan-European credit score to empower EU citizens' fair access to credit, while expanding consumer credit markets for financial institutions. She's a seasoned financial professional, driving change in the way financial institutions access credit risk. Her cloud quote is actually Bill Gates. In future, banking is necessary, but banks are not. Actually, that's very true. All right, ladies, are you ready? So I will give a question. Each one of you take, say, 30 seconds or so and answer, and then we'll get to the next question. We'll have a few questions, then we'll open to the audience. Okay? Fair? So how each one of you have created cloud journey to meet customer expectations? Madhu?
Yeah, I'll start. So I think as you were doing the introductions, looks like I'm the only one in actual product development, so kind of geeky here. But my personal experience in IBM, which we truly believe in hybrid cloud, right? There is aspect of public cloud, private cloud, but as you can see, research shows that about only 20% of the workloads are running in public cloud. Most of the data still resides behind the firewall in your private cloud because of compliance reasons and such. So as I was working in terms of how are we going to help move the strategy taking forward in the cloud, one of the personal experience was building it was not more about the tools and skills, it was more about the cultural change also. How do we start thinking about different type of infrastructure, different type of tools like containers and such you heard in the earlier speech, and how do you start building infrastructure so you can have portable applications, right? That's the way you're going to achieve the hybrid cloud vision, that you can run the same workload behind your firewall, all in the public cloud, and the experience is the same. So I had a great opportunity in IBM a few years ago to lead and set up a worldwide engineering team all the way from understanding the experience so that we can hide a lot of the complexity and hiring the skills of the people so we can start modernizing a lot of our own solutions and taking the clients to that journey so that the experience is seamless no matter where they are. It doesn't matter behind the firewall or on the public cloud.
So I think my cloud journey really centers on data. I'm a consumer and an input into the process that you just described as what Eduardo presented. And for me, my team takes that data. We think about the customer problem that we want to solve, how we want to connect a consumer to the great travel solution that we're looking for, how we plug advertisers into that, and how we can do that at speed and scale and do it real time. So for me, my cloud journey really centers on access to the data and making sure that we're compliant where we need to be and getting innovative where we can be.
Hello. Our platform is 100% cloud-based. We use both SaaS and PaaS components, and in this way, we are able to minimize DevOps or cybersecurity overhead, and in the same time, get the maximum out of cloud elasticity, without the need of costly CapEx. We use cloud repositories, project management, and monitoring tools that are agile and reliable. Our cloud infrastructure is hosted on a platform as a service that can help us scale dynamically, both up and down, depending on the workload of our app's usage, which includes training of our machine learning models. With cloud technologies, we get business continuity in case of a disastrous event, which is also a mandate of our regulator. And last but not least, we have teams both in Ireland and Greece, and without cloud technologies, they could not effectively collaborate, because with cloud technologies, we avoid slow VPNs or multiple authentication methods.
Thank you. Give it to
So my cloud journey is super personal. My first real job out of college was as a software engineer, and then focused on DevOps at Microsoft. And that was about 15 years ago, and I'm come full circle now at Google, where I am helping to build tools specifically for software developers and DevOps on the Google Cloud Platform. So it's been really exciting to kind of feel like I'm building for myself. As a user researcher, I completely empathize with so many of the challenges, and Eduardo alluded to, there's so many options. How do you choose which one? So that's where my cloud journey has, I guess, left me today.
Great.
For me, I deliberately wanted to go last because my job as an attorney is to take all of what you just heard and somehow make it sound into a contract and to explain to their legal counsel what all of this means and what's going to happen to what they're trying to protect. And it's a little bit tricky. It used to be quite tricky a few years back. I found myself on the phone with quite a few senior counsel across a lot of large companies that are represented here today to explain that they were not going to just own everything that was coming to them in this relationship with this new vendor. And it was interesting because there was a lot of segment dissecting what each word meant. What is cloud? What is data? What is this? What is cloud server versus cloud? You know, it's just, you saw all the terminology up there, and it's getting really interesting because I actually think it's helpful that we're able to define the terms so well that we can continue into these relationships where we're getting clear about what is actually the boundaries of what the client is receiving and what they're not receiving. And so my job is generally working with entrepreneurs such as those in this room who are building solutions for these companies and in partnership with these companies, but also thinking about how they reflect those relationships in their contractual language and coming up with ways to streamline that process. At the end of the day, the person you're probably negotiating with is a procurement team or someone who really understands the solution. But when it gets sent up to legal, then that person doesn't necessarily always know exactly what has taken place at that earlier stage. So whatever we can do to get those agreements signed, because once the agreement's signed, you can expedite things. What really frustrates me in the world that I'm in is everybody's trying so hard not to get it sent to legal because we just talked about how fast cloud is. Legal is 4 weeks later or 10 weeks later, and we're like, we're ready to go. And they're like, we'll sign the contract 3 months from now. Is that okay, Madhu? I'm like, all right, go for it. You know, like, what are you going to do? It's just, it's like, why hasn't the law field, unfortunately, caught up to a lot of these things? You know, the legal tech is slowly bubbling, and I think there'll be more in that space. I wouldn't count on it right now. It's probably slower than most that we're talking about here. But again, work with strong partners, build those relationships internally so that your cloud journey can be successful as you're going through these processes.
Great. So you heard that legal field is much slower. So if they're entrepreneur, startup, there's an idea for you. Let's disrupt that legal services space. All right. The second question. Do you think you're winning hearts and minds of your customers with all the challenges? And yet cloud gives a lot of opportunity, but it comes with challenges too. So do you think you're really winning the
I'll
hearts?
take that one. Probably you all know the background. IBM deals with very large enterprises, right? Sometimes we say the world runs on all the IBM hardware and software solutions. Do we have the hearts and minds of our clients? I think we do, because the point I made earlier about our strategy on hybrid cloud, no lock-in with any vendor, meaning your applications and your data could be on any cloud. So hybrid multi-cloud, if you have that strategy down, you know you got at least the strategy of the clients down. Number 2 is the focus on security, right? If you look around what's happening with privacy and regulatory compliance, if you don't know, you know, the GDPR, obviously everybody knows what's happening there. I'm from California, the California privacy laws, what's happening in South Africa, India. So the compliance, the regulations, privacy, knowing your data is just so important. So our theme about secure to the core is very, very critical, right? And also number 3, the main one of my other focus is all about analytics, right? Data is as good as it can be. It's a gold mine. If you're not able to leverage it, analyze it, and figure out how you can drive different type of business insights, you know, you're gonna be stalled. So having those 3 main focus and building the experience where you can hide a lot of this complexity, I do think with that, we have the heart and soul of the clients, and then they're ready to do business with us.
And I think from my perspective, more on the consumer side, as a consumer of all of the data that we do put in our cloud, I think that we do a really good job most of the time. We keep it secure. We're able to connect people and process those transactions to get them where they want to go. But every once in a while, you have a little bit of a breakdown. I have a great story around this. I got a text from a friend of mine last night. She's in French Polynesia. That is a vacation she has saved for a really long time. Really excited to go. Our data feed from one of our hotel partners didn't carry an important piece of information when she booked, which was that the pool is closed. So she arrived on this great vacation, and the pool is closed. So that's a big bummer for her. We didn't get that in our data feed from the partner. That's something we can go back and correct and make that feed stronger and better, and the way that we access it through our products can be better as well. So I think it's always learning and not being afraid to take on that next challenge, which is add to that layer of what we're working with and why. We were able to help her as a company and refund part of her fee, which makes her happy, but I think it's a good lesson that you can take data at an aggregated level, but at the end of the day, it's highly personal, and you want to respect that and how you're working with, using your data, and what's in the cloud, and how you access it and why.
So ladies, we are going to jump to another question, and then let's start with you, Heidi. Where do you predict the opportunity for cloud tech exists?
So for me, I thought about this question, and I decided that I personally feel like there is a ton of opportunity with APIs. Eduardo, again, he mentioned some of this, but what I'm saying is that there are so many options out there for your cloud solutions. Having a solid API is what's really going to enable those experiences. And that is something more on the developer side, but also with a really good API, you can have no-code solutions for your product. So I think that's where there's a huge, huge opportunity. That way you don't get lock-in, and there's just so much more opportunity for you if you want to go open source and all of that. So for me personally, I feel like the API space is huge.
Madhu Singh, given that you're helping the CEOs and entrepreneurs about bringing their ideas to market, where do you think the opportunity lies?
The opportunity is quite vast, as we all know. I think that one of the things that comes up a lot in my work is balancing the risk that goes with any of these solutions that come in there. And I think the more that companies are willing to stand behind their products and work with their customers, just about in any field, it's going to generally trump the people who are not willing to take on any risk when it comes to this space. So I do think cloud security is going to be really huge. I think anything that helps with securing privacy and dealing with things in that space. And at the end of the day, it's going to be, I think, the insurance agencies that are going to, is a huge opportunity. And I don't think that they're quite ready for what cloud is going to make available for everyone. And so I think insurance is the place to disrupt.
Okay. So, I'm getting signs. Should we just?
Unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap it up right now. We have a bunch of lunchtime activities, plus I want to make sure everybody has lunch. Nobody faints, nobody has any blood sugar issues, and we're all energized for the afternoon. So maybe if you could just take another moment to wrap up, that would be great, and then we'll transition.
Absolutely. So, I wish we had a little bit more time because I wanted to build up the conversation a little bit more and give you guys the opportunity to ask questions to these phenomenal panel. But what we can do is we are all here throughout the day. If you have any questions, you want to come and talk to us, please come and talk to us. But give another round of applause for this phenomenal ladies. Yeah.